Welcome to Cozy Council Conversations.
My name is Livy, and L is for leadership.
My name is Nora, and N is for nutrition.
Hey, it's Izzy, and I is for insights and entomology.
My name is Abby, and A is for art club.
My name is Claire, and C is for civic engagement.
My name is Maria, and M is for the Model Horse Project.
And my name's Taylor, and T is for turkey barbecue.
And we are your 2021 Pennsylvania State 4-H Council. I can't believe it's already been a year and that it's almost over. It's crazy.
It's actually hard to believe, honestly.
Yeah, it somehow felt like we've flown by because we've done so many different things, even though it's only been a year, or it's been a whole year.
Yeah, it feels like we were just at Capitol Days like 2 weeks ago. So crazy to think we're already here, the end of our term.
Yeah, that's a great point, Nora, though, that we did a lot of different things. I think that goes well with our theme of being different together, learning a lot of different things.
I agree. I mean, I didn't know about half of the things in the club before a couple years ago. And I think really getting into some of like the bigger things in 4-H has opened my eyes to a lot of the different opportunities that our club provides.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it all honestly starts at the club level, like with projects. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And I think that like as we worked on our highlights and as we were just learning more about what Pennsylvania 4-H had to offer, there's so many new projects that I learned about that I never heard of before, like model railroad, model horse. Those were totally new projects to me that I find really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, did any of you guys know that manure management was a thing?
No, never.
I mean, that sounds like one of the most interesting projects, honestly.
Right, and it's so important. It's such a big part of having a farm.
Right. Yeah, and there's so many other projects that are like that people haven't really heard of, like, woodworking and, beekeeping and things like that. And, Nora, you're involved with Health Rocks. I think that's one that a lot of people haven't heard about. Like, what do you do there?
So I got into Health Rocks a few years ago, thanks to my 4-H educator, Matthew Kretschmann. And basically, you can do a lot of different things. That goes into some of the cooking and nutrition opportunities that 4-H provides, but it also goes a lot into mental health, which I think is something that's overlooked as a thing that helps the community a lot. But when you really get into like trying to lift up young people and help their mental health, it makes a huge difference on your community. And it's something I think a lot more people should get into.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really glad you got into that and have brought a lot of attention to it, even over our time on council. I know I had no idea what it was, and it's something our county is actually starting to look into, starting to involve in our project club. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you need any help with it, let me know. I can talk for days about it.
Yeah, I feel like that's one project that kind of benefits the other projects too.
Yeah.
But so Taylor, you're involved with potato judging. That's one that we bring up all the time. Tell us a little bit about that.
I am. So potato judging, we usually started up late in the fall, and there's a state contest at Farm Show, and you can compete, and you do 3 different sections of the potato judging contest and compete to be the state champion. So I know that was pretty cool. We got to witness that at Farm Show.
Have you ever been the state champion for potato judging?
I have, actually, the other year.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I won. I had the fastest time. Now I'm in the honors division.
So tell us a little bit about how you judge a potato.
Absolutely. So we have the first section, which is you have a table full of 100 potatoes, and you go through as fast as possible, and you find the ones that don't make grade or aren't good enough, and you have to circle their number on your paper. Then you go to the next section and you have a table of 40 potatoes, and on your paper there's a list of 20 defects or issues that can be wrong with your potato, and you have to identify which one is on the specific potato. And then you have 2 classes of 4 plates, and you have to place the plates 1 to 4 in each class. And there's a whole system of uniformity. It is
I
serious business.
think I'll just stick to the French fries. That's like the good part of it, but
Yeah, I'd rather eat the potatoes than judge them.
than to judge them. I agree.
Well, but so the state potato judging contest, I feel like that's an event that people don't really hear of. So
It's growing. When I first started, there was 20 kids that competed. And now I think this year was 180.
Wow.
So it is growing. It's in counties that have never done it before. It's growing pretty good.
It's all because of you, Taylor.
I don't know about that.
Potato judging competition.
Maybe they should take those potatoes and use them towards a cooking challenge and let the,
That'd be cool.
that's another project that I think we highlighted and that's been going on right now is the statewide cooking challenge. But I know there's a lot of very talented people cooking. I hopped on last weekend to talk to them a little bit, and I talked to the senior division, but they were pretty excited to get their days started. So not really sure how it completely went, but sounded like lots of fun.
yeah, there's a lot of competitions that are less popular, but I think should be more popular. Like, for example, the chicken or turkey barbecuing competition. I mean, it really, if you're not into animals and other projects like that, you can really excel at turkey barbecuing. Like, you don't really have to have talent for that. You can just learn how to do it.
I mean, there's just lots of options for everything really in 4-H. I mean, like even if you're not into cooking, because I know personally I'm not into cooking. I did compete in the cooking challenge one time. It didn't end well. I lost the rice that I started cooking. That's how you do that. I don't know.
Unfortunate.
But there are other like state competition events like the fashion review or like livestock judging or livestock skill-a-thon if you are into livestock projects. But the fashion review is such a really cool thing to even sit and attend and just see all the talented people and the amazing projects that they put together and the stories behind like why they chose the dress that they made and the patterns that they chose. So I really enjoyed going to the fashion review this year.
I always think it's really interesting how they make it so that you can actually wear it in like real life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes people make these like extravagant things to just win the competition, but who's going to actually wear that? Like I always think it's really cool when they make stuff that they'd actually wear on a daily basis.
I agree. Even if you don't have the talent to get involved in sewing, which by the way, I think everyone can learn if you like put in. I mean, when I started home ec, not cool, but by the end, I made a pillowcase. But even just like going and like witnessing fashion, like I know I had a whole like because I personally like love wearing different outfits, but when I went to the fashion show and saw the things that they made, I had like a whole new perspective on fashion as an industry and how much work and effort and like mental duress goes into it. And so I think it was so cool to see. So highly recommend that event as well.
Yeah, and not only were they putting together their outfits, they were even creating descriptions of them and helping with their public speaking and getting out those skills. I know, Izzy, you do a lot of public speaking at the county level, so
Yeah, I love doing the public speaking competitions, and I think it's something that's like really important to success, not only in school, but even in the workplace in the future. And I just think effective communication is so important. And 4-H really does an amazing job at highlighting it and giving you the skills and the feedback that you need to be an even better public speaker. So I think that, you know, if you don't know of any public speaking competitions near you or anything, to reach out to a leader or an educator. It's like a really important thing to get involved in.
Yeah. See, my actual region, we actually have a public speaking contest. And it's so interesting because it's all age levels too. And it can even be something simple as doing the pledges or just doing a radio spot, which is only about 30 seconds. But it's so interesting to see that so many younger members are also wanting to get involved and learn how to be better public speakers.
Yeah, I feel like public speaking is one way to really develop your leadership skills. And I think there's a lot of different opportunities in 4-H that allow you to do that. Like, for example, I was involved in the team Horsepower for a long time. And that's something that is kind of like an ambassador program just for horse passionate kids in 4-H. And so you don't even have to have a horse. You can have a model horse, like the Model Horse Project, and you get involved and you get to be a leader of something that you really care about. And I think that's awesome. What other leadership opportunities do you guys know about that maybe you were involved in?
Well, I was also involved with being officer positions in many of my clubs. And that also helped me get out of my bubble because I remember starting in 4-H, I was this really quiet kid, didn't really want to say much to everybody. I was still nice to everybody, but I just didn't like talking to people. But actually having an officer position allowed me to start talking to other people and making connections in my 4-H clubs.
I agree with that. I think that events definitely help to break people out of their shell. I know for me, the first time I went to Capitol Days, we had an event where we had to debate a bill. And that was the first time I remember getting in front of a large crowd and speaking my mind, especially without having anything like structurally planned to say beforehand. And that opened up a world of opportunities because I realized I really liked doing that. And that's not something that I thought I was going to like. And so trying new things and being able to do that at an event such as Capitol Days really helped me break out of my shell as well.
Yeah, and I'd say similarly to Capitol Days, I think attending our state leadership conference or SLC really was a good leadership opportunity for me to go to because you just have 3 days just full of getting advice and learning skills and practicing those skills. Like I love the team building workshops where you learn how to do it and then you actually implement it. And I think that going to that event like years in a row just really helped me gain leadership confidence and helped me to get where I am on like the state council team today.
Yeah, and you can get a head start on that too by attending the State Leadership Conference Junior. You can be as young as 10 to go to that. So that's kind of like getting a feel for the teen leader experience by being a little bit younger, even before you're a teen.
Yeah, it really introduced me to the 4-H world. I learned about all the different projects. Even coming, I got to meet a lot of new people and make so many friends from all across the state, which I've loved. I love staying connected with all of them and learning about their different projects and how maybe different areas run their different project types. Like Taylor, we live on completely opposite ends of the state, and I think that's why I didn't really know what potato judging was right away, but
I think SLC really prepared me to handle the Clover Awards, and I did the livestock ladder this past year too. And you can check the SLC off on part of your Clover Awards too, but I know I just finished my Diamond Clover, and that was a really awesome opportunity. I dealt with pollination and I taught over 500 kids, and there was no way I would have been able to do that without those leadership opportunities. I would not have been able to speak to 500 kids about anything I knew because like I wouldn't have had those communication skills. So having that background of being a good leader, even starting at the county level, was super important.
Yeah, and building up that way also kind of prepares you for going to national events like the National Congress in Georgia or National Conference. So there's definitely a lot of benefits to doing all of these different leadership things. Well, so that was a lot, but so for each of you, what was your favorite event or project that you learned about while you've been on state council?
I know for me, definitely, I didn't know anything about the pollinating or beekeeping world before I joined state council. And then after I joined, I remember we went to a National Agriculture Summit, and that was really cool because one of the girls in my group talked a lot about beekeeping and how important it is for the environment and how that's something that she goes into as a career path. And I didn't even know any of that existed. And since then, I've done a lot of research on different beekeeping videos and techniques, just as something to do in my free time, because I think it's really interesting. And I never would have had that, and I never would have been able to have those experiences if not for meeting her and hearing about her story.
I'd say probably for me, I knew it existed like Capitol Days, but I had never gone like prior to this year. So that was something new for me, and I really enjoyed it because I've never really had that like close connection to talking about government on the state level and the background to it. And we had roundtables where we like got to talk to the state representatives, and that was super cool because I got to sit in on something that I felt very passionate about, and then it was to be able to discuss with other 4-Hers and the state representative like what they were doing to make it better or change it, and just hear kind of a little bit about their stories was really cool. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of thing definitely prepared me to be on state council. And one of my favorite events was being at a press conference with government officials and being able to stand up there and give a speech alongside all of them and shake their hands and hear about what they're doing. And I feel like that was kind of one of the heights of being on state council. It was kind of like, okay, this is what my time in 4-H has been really preparing me for.
I think for me, my favorite event that we held it was the State Leadership Conference Junior. I really like seeing all the younger kids that were just so excited to be there, and even hearing they loved our workshops. And I think it was so rewarding hearing how much we had been putting into them, just getting a little bit out of, they really loved sitting and listening in, and I know they learned a lot. So that was my favorite part.
Not to copy you, Maria, but SLC Junior was also one of my favorite events because before, when I was at that age, there was no SLC Junior. And it's actually very interesting because I remember wanting to go to SLC when I was younger because that's what my older sister Rachel did. But like I was too young to go. So it's amazing to see that like we put this together and we were able to allow younger members from across the state to start getting those leadership skills and starting to grow as leaders that they are today.
Yeah, I know for me, like something really new that like Taylor, Livy, and I went to was the Dairy State show. That was so much fun. I knew nothing about cows, to be quite frank, and it was just so interesting. I know Livy and I were talking about like what was it, wild cows?
Yeah, like how are there dairy cows in the wild? Who milks them in the wild? But yeah, we asked an expert and they said that they don't really exist in the wild. Like we created like dairy cows.
I'd have to say, kind of going along with like the government theme, when we went to that annual Farm Bureau conference, it was eye-opening for me to just see the amount or the variety of policy that is passed, from anything you can think of milk grades to hunting policies. I thought it was really interesting, and to listen to the debates and the topics that were discussed and everybody's different point of view, and then to watch how everybody came together and just kind of agreed on something. I thought that was it was really cool to just watch and be a part of. I'd say that was probably one of my favorite events we went to that year.
Yeah, I definitely think that we had a lot of amazing experiences, and we definitely hope that maybe you as listeners are learning something from us telling you about all these different opportunities. So thank you for listening. This has been
so much.
Cozy
Council Conversations.
Aww.